If I was to start again as a first home buyer in 2025 and I wanted to buy not one but 2 houses, here's how I would do it. So the first purchase, what I would do is I would figure out the upside. I'd buy within my means and figure out how can I renovate or develop or do something to this property to give me more equity and more capital growth than all the neighbors around me. And the reason I say that is because people have these strategies of, oh, my house value is going to go up. But if you do nothing to your house, then it hasn't really gone up if all the other houses gone up as well, because it's just all the same. Inflation, right? So if I can renovate this house or subdivide it or buy a cross-lease property and turn it into a freehold house, then it's going to increase value faster than the rest. And while that is happening, I need to focus on increasing my personal income to make sure that I can get more lending. Now, of course, if you're employed, that's going to be a little bit harder to do than if you're self-employed. But if you're self-employed, a lot of people I talk to F this up. They get too much business debt and it affects how much they can borrow and all that other stuff. So you need to make sure that you are increasing your income without increasing your debt, and it needs to be usable income. So if you're self-employed, ideally have to have been doing it for 2 years before we can use your financials. And then once you've bought that house, the first one, and you've got the equity in there, then you buy house number 2. And house number 2 is obviously either going to be a rental property or it's going to be your new home, and this one's going to be your rental property. Now, I just did a video on YouTube about how the equity thing works, so go watch that. There's a link in my profile bio. But basically the same thing is going to happen. How can I increase the value of my next property to help me buy a third, or even have more equity, just so that I don't have as much lending or the LVR isn't too high, so I'm not exposed if interest rates or house prices go down. And then of course you want to be thinking, or you're probably thinking, well, what about kiwisaver and stuff like that? Now obviously use a kiwisaver for your first property, you won't be able to use it for your second property, and just think about how everything that you do is either going to help you have a higher deposit for the next one, as well as higher income for the next one. If you fast forward 10 years, you're probably going to have enough equity to buy more property, but you may not have enough income, so focus hard on that piece of the puzzle.